So we have F91 spawning at the bottom left corner of the map and NonY spawning at the top right corner of the map. Now there's a handful of interesting things that Protoss can do aside from what I mentioned. A lot of Zerg players occasionally will do things where they go for sort of an early contain. Because you have this fat ramp that's outside your natural expansion, a lot of Zerg players will rush to burrow a bunch of lurkers there. And very clever Protoss players circumvent this entirely by just getting a big Zealot Reaver army after they go Corsair. And then they can just walk right through that center crack. I think the Zealot Reaver opening after Corsair is just a fantastic option. So we do see NonY walking down. It looks like he's going to build his first pylon. Nothing too crazy going down for either player. NonY's now sending a probe through the center of the map. I wouldn't be too surprised if NonY 2-gated. Just because NonY typically is the sort of player who likes 2-gating against his opponents. I think 2-gate play is really fun, especially on a map like this. And uh-oh, no Overlord going down for F91. Here's the spawning pool, a 9 pool. This is a great opening for Zerg on this map. Again, as I was saying before, you kind of have this fat entrance. You have a fat natural. It just has like a lot of space in it. So if you get Zergling speed, you can easily run in just a nice big army. We see the extractor trick happening once again for F91, and NonY still hasn't made a forge yet. That forge is pretty late. I would have liked to see that go down on 10, but it's going down almost at 12 food. I'm not sure if NonY's going to be able to deal with this attack. He might just get attacked and lose, or even if he doesn't lose at his front, he might just have Zerglings run right through his base. So we see the Overlord almost finished, and these Zerglings about to pop. And only now is NonY's forge finishing. Here come 3 Zerglings, and it looks like F91's also going to be sending a drone to expand. I'm curious if he's going to build any more than those initial 6. That might be a nice sort of aggressive play. We see 1 cannon going down for NonY. He's probably going to be building a gateway after these 2 cannons, because I think on this map, excuse me, you just absolutely cannot get away with delaying on your delaying on that gateway. But it looks like NonY's feeling a little overly bold today. He's going to build a Nexus just after 1 cannon versus a 9 pool. Well, it does look like NonY is distracting these 6 Zerglings by running a probe around. I think this is actually very, very advanced play by NonY. He knows to himself that the Zerg player is likely not going to be making additional Zerglings, and also NonY's thinking to himself, if I distract these Zerglings enough, I can squeeze in this Nexus. And we see this cannon, or we see this gateway about to be thrown down for NonY. Hopefully it gets thrown down for NonY, or else he's not walled in at all. And there it is. Right now NonY's timing is looking absolutely beautiful. But oh my god, is F91 going to be able to run? He just runs his Zerglings right up to that cannon. And they run right into NonY's main. Like nothing! Look at this! 4 Zerglings wandering right into NonY's main. After NonY saw the 9 pool, built that Nexus super late, got all his stuff going, now he has 4 Zerglings in his main. They didn't even have speed, they just walked right by the cannon. I actually think NonY's play was totally perfect, just somehow he didn't clog all the holes in his front. If he just thrown 4 or 5 probes down there, this totally wouldn't be happening. But now NonY's in just complete nightmare position. And he's frustrated, clearly, and leaves the game. Wow. F91 3-0 now, and the 3rd game was under 4 minutes. What? Wow. Awesome. Wow, Zerg pride. But yeah, I mean, I definitely do understand NonY's mindset in that sort of situation. I mean, if you're playing a series against a player who's hyper-aggressive and you know it, he's already won his first 2 games by being incredibly aggressive and putting pressure on you all game long. If you get thrown off your rhythm that early in a game to something that you totally weren't expecting, I wouldn't want to play a game all the way out. I mean, even if I did try to play the game all the way out, I might be so drained by being a huge hero in that one game that I'd end up losing the next few games totally easily. So right now, F91 up 3-0 in this best of 7. Let's see if NonY can pull a sky high and come back 4-3. By the way, I should put a spoiler tag on this shoutcast. Make sure none of that information gets leaked. But now, fortunately for NonY, we have a map coming up that is my least favorite map in the world to play on as a Zerg player, which is Loki 2. This map is just gorgeous for Protoss players. They have this beautiful gas natural sitting right outside their front, and this absolutely lovely Paradise Resort gas natural sitting at the back of their base. There's virtually nothing Zerg can do to prevent a Protoss player from getting that gas natural at the back, like ultra early. And plus, the choke at your natural expansion, you can defend the ramp and your nexus really easily. Everything's positioned so nicely there. I mean, if on Loki 2 the natural expansion was set back a few more hexes and that made the ramp a little bit more difficult to hold with just a cannon, that would clearly have made this map much more favored to Zerg. I mean, it wouldn't swing the balance violently in favor of Zerg, but I mean, this would help Zerg from winning more than like 1 out of every bazillion games on this map. What's also even great is that once Protoss gets a big ground army from these 3 bases, they have tons of options for what gas natural or what 4th gas they want to take next. I mean, if they walk right outside their base towards the middle of the map, there's those gas expansions that are tucked nicely away back there. And also, even if you wander towards the left side of the map, there's more gas expansions there. So right now, this map, I think, is just wonderfully favored towards Protoss already. And even like, even for Zerg, it's not terrible. I mean, even though there's just these basic ideas, you know, like, oh, Protoss gets so much gas, it's great. If you watch Jaedong play on this map, Jaedong, the Zerg that sort of defies what balance... Jaedong did a brilliant play against Kal in the MSL finals, where he ended up taking the top left gas base and the bottom right. I think that is an amazing choice. A lot of Zerg players will think of how to defend everything adequately. That, although both ended up being adequately defended, that sort of logic to me says you can attack one or the other but not both. So that allowed Jaedong to really get a huge resource advantage in the game by holding both of these expansions. He got his main as natural and his backdoor place, and then by taking this top left and bottom right, that's what helped bring his momentum into the game against Kal's big army. And that is one of the best games I've ever seen. So hopefully NonY can be a genius on this map as well and end up bringing America to 1 win against the superpower China 4-3. So with all that in mind, let us begin Game 4 of NonY vs F91 on Loki 2.